Hi, my name is Aaliyah Eisenstadt Idlaka. Welcome to the Insightful Therapist, where we explore personal growth, mental health, and self-awareness. I am so excited to share with you today that I am here with licensed psychotherapist and Insight Therapy's newest therapist, Becca Brewster. Becca, it's so nice to have you.
Thanks, Aaliyah. Yeah, so great to be here.
So, I some of you have been on this journey, some of you are just joining now. Insight Therapy is located in Santa Barbara, California, but sees people all throughout California and has had a growing team of phenomenal therapists. And as I've been interviewing different people, Becca would just, you know, totally stood out as one of my top choices and candidates for so many reasons. So I'm excited to be able to share with all of you a little bit about what I saw in Becca that's so wonderful, and a little bit about how she works therapeutically. So, Becca, you're originally from the East Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut and moved here about 6 years ago for Pacifica.
Okay. And this part we weren't going to really mention in detail, but she has this incredible history of living like in the British Virgin Islands and in Costa Rica and in several other different states. And so I think I mentioned that just because one of the things that stood out to me was how you have a really grounded sense to you. And that there's a way that you hold space and have this more international awareness and this surfer earthy vibe that is just so wonderful to be around. So that kind of dives me into this next question, which is what inspired you to get into mental health? What brought you here?
Well, yeah, thank you for giving such a good introduction to my life. Yeah, I think, I was having a really hard time back in my early 20s and going through some things and finding my life's purpose and what should I do. And I figured out that I wanted to work with people on a more in-depth way. I was working more in like tourism and customer service yeah, and figured out that something that inspired me was to work with people on more of a heart level and also be in nature. And so I figured out, I'm going to try out wilderness therapy, moved to Colorado and worked as a field guide in wilderness therapy for about 3 years. And really big, that was a big introduction to the mental health world and being, confronted with the full range of the human experience in, backpacking in the backcountry and working, 24 hours a day with folks getting some support.
Such important work. Yeah. And you're currently affiliated with the Wilderness Youth Project. That's actually the first time we met years ago. What feels like eons ago when I was at AHA and you were at WIP. Um, yeah, so you've been a big voice in sort of the surfing wilderness youth therapy world here in Santa Barbara for quite some time. And that really ties into my next question, which is like what approaches do you use and incorporate into your psychotherapeutic practice that make, seeing you as a therapist so special?
Well, yeah, and thanks for mentioning all that, like kind of cross using all the different resources in town and being affiliated with different community pieces. I think that's also influenced me and figured out that I try to use the body. I'm trained in somatic psychotherapy, so I bring in the body and the body's awareness into all of my sessions, whether we're up and moving around or using just the breath or just bringing awareness to how do I feel internally and how does that create and relate to everything else that's going on. And so, yeah, using the body, using connection with nature, my own connection with nature, but also sometimes going outside with clients. And then I went to Pacifica. So bringing in that depth, if you're not familiar with Pacifica, just bringing in the depth psychological background into all of my sessions whenever possible, and really having that lens with all clients.
That's beautiful. And so there's a way that you're incorporating body, nature and psyche in the way that you work that I think also speaks into maybe what I'm picking up on, which is this really just lovely, grounded presence that's so wonderful to be around.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, if Becca's not, in the office and doing her work, she's out surfing, right? An avid surfer.
Yep, any chance I get, I'm in the ocean surfing or swimming.
Swimming.
Yeah,
Hmm.
been loving ocean swimming when there hasn't been surf, and just the try to get it a little dose of adventure in every day for myself and movement in every day.
Hmm. So swimming, cycling, backpacking, yoga. It one another thing that stood out to me is, it's easy to say I believe in these things or these are my approaches. It's another thing to walk the talk. And I really see that in who you are, that these are the things that bring me wellness and these are also the modalities in which I work and share with clients.
Yeah, I try to. I think there's like a not a role model, I guess a role modeling sense of like this is something that keeps me happy and fulfilled, and I'm pretty dedicated to those practices and those things that bring me joy and adventure. And I think that clients can feel that, or we even name that in session and help them figure out what are those things for them. And it doesn't have to be nature,
Mhm.
but often it brings clients in who have similar or want to have those values.
Mhm.
And we align in those ways, which has been really cool to talk about.
I love that. It's just so inspirational. And it is true. Like we're located right by the Santa Barbara Mission and the Rose Gardens. And so, that's an easy walk for us. Of course, along with McDonald's ice cream, but we won't go there. Um, and yeah, that there is that beautiful park that, we've done walking sessions out in there, and really kind of incorporated some of what Santa Barbara has to offer in terms of accessible, year-round nature, to healing and people's healing journeys. So we're gonna come to a close here, unless is there anything else you're wanting to share with people before we close?
No, I really appreciate you asking me these questions, and I'm really excited to be at Insight and to be seeing clients here and just be part of this family and creating more community out in, I think in the therapist community, but also in the greater scheme of Santa Barbara. And yeah, just happy to be here. So thank you.
You said the exact word that was my ending thought. It's we're on the same wavelength, which seems to be consistently true, which is community. So one of the visions that I think we share is that, as two licensed therapists, and taking on, associate therapists at Insight Therapy, that we're holding a space of community and of community that is in touch with not just depth psychology, but soul and purpose and psyche, nature, and body, right? And body's desire to play, whether it's in the waves or the mountains. That's part of what we're drawing in and creating. And so we invite others to reach out. The website's www.insighttherapy.center. And on that, you can see Becca's, which is, Becca at insighttherapy.center, email and number. And please feel free to reach out. We'd love to share more with you. Thank you, Becca.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.